Hey folks, back again with another vlog. This is a commissioned video for Shane. Thanks, as always, for backing Shane. You've been one of my most loyal Patreon backers very nearly since the beginning. So thank you very much. This is Wander over Yonder. And I forget the episode number, but it's The Gift to the Giftening. So I guess before I begin, I should start with what I knew about Wander Over Yonder before I started. So I knew that it's by Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust. Craig McCracken, of course, I know from Powerpuff Girls. Lauren Faust from Powerpuff Girls as well. Both of them from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And, of course, Lauren Faust from My Little Pony Friendship's Magic. So that I knew that this was their current project. And that's it. That is literally all I knew going in. I did not know the characters. I did not know the setting. I did not know the premise. Nothing. But I am guessing that this episode was a focus on the villains. I mean, obviously there were villains, but I'm guessing these are the main villains of the show, and that this was an unusual case of an episode focusing on them primarily. I looked up the episode title in a list of episodes so that I could get the number so that I could find it. To watch it. And what I did is I just searched for the word gift in the episode list because I didn't want to see other episode titles and their descriptions and have, learn things that I wouldn't otherwise have known. So from that, it looks like this is not the sequel to an episode called The Gift, because Gift to the Giftening was the first hit on the page for the word gift. So, anyway. I liked this a lot. It was cute. It was fun. The characters were pretty generic. In my last video, Star vs. Forces of Evil, Episode 5, I talked about the Holy Fool. I suspect that Wander is one of those. But here we see kind of the classic enemy of the Holy Fool type hero, the bumbling villain, or the seemingly competent villain, but if he were competent, he wouldn't have such incompetent minions. And that's actually what we see, is that the minions here, watchdogs, I think they called them? I guess that works for eyeball heads. They are incompetent only because they're so mistreated, and if Lord Hader were actually a good boss, he would have a much more effective evil organization, as they demonstrate at the end, when believing that all the gifts are from him, they rally and save him and are awesome, thus fulfilling him getting what he wants. And so the happiness spreads and infects everyone. And I actually really like that. I really like that because there are people who believe that misery is an effective motivator. That punishing people until they do the right thing will get them to do it, or until they do what you want them to do, until they perform, is effective. And the truth is, it's not. Punishment is a way of teaching, but it really only works under very limited circumstances. It has to be very closely tied in time and space to the event that is being punished for. And it's still less effective than some of the more efficient methods of learning available to us. And even after all that, it's not a motivator, it's a teaching technique. There's a difference. It'll teach you what you can learn what behavior will and won't get you punished, but that's not the same thing as motivating you to do the behavior that's desired. That requires something different. And offering rewards can be an effective motivator. It isn't always. Sometimes it can backfire. But it can, done right, be a very effective motivator. So I feel like there's a rebuke here, because a lot of our society is built on the assumption that, putting people through misery that if that didn't exist, if punishment for failure weren't omnipresent and ever threatening, nobody would ever accomplish anything and all of society would fall apart. And counter to that, there's the argument that no, we should give people what they need. We should give people, what they need to pursue their dreams, and that's motivation enough to keep things going. And this episode is clearly taking the latter tack, that, a little bit of, as they say in the episode, a little bit of positive reinforcement goes a long way. But if you feed on misery and fear, if you want to keep people trapped in a structure that is based on misery and fear and on the threat of punishment, if, in short, you are on the top of such a hierarchy and you want to retain that power, the last thing you want is for the minions to be happy. Because happy people tend to go off and pursue their own things. People who feel safe tend to go off and pursue their own things. It's frightened, miserable people who listen to orders. So if you want people to listen to order, keep them frightened, keep them miserable, keep them frustrated, keep them tightly reined in. There's a reason that militaries put new recruits through hell before they ever put a loaded weapon in their hand and point them towards the enemy. Because if you want people to follow orders, they need to be frightened and miserable. That's that's the mindset under which people become obedient. Happy people, people who feel safe, people who are comfortable, by and large, they're the ones who start asking, why? Why should I? I'm comfortable, I'm safe, I'm happy. Why should I listen to you? And that's the most and so happiness is the most dangerous thing in the world if you are one of the people who gains power from misery. And that's pretty clearly where Lord Hater is. That's who he is. And it's great for him that his minions are suddenly competent, but at the same time he realizes at the end of the episode that he's suffered a defeat. This corruption has spread through his own organization, even to him. And it's great. I loved it. I loved, the horror movie vibe of it. The way that they at first didn't understand and then got the sciencey explanation and then, the whole give it to me straight, man. Lots of horror movie elements being played with here. Lots of, zombie movie logic. But, great scene of the watchdogs patrolling and getting picked off one by one as they get their dreams. The best line in the thing was the guy who got the diamond ring, and then his friend says to him something like, "She's gonna love it, buddy," and he's crying, his comrade has died. But the conversation they were having before that was very telling. Lord Hader doesn't allow us to pursue dreams. Because he doesn't, because he can't. Because if you're off pursuing your dreams, you're not working for him. So you have to be kept miserable and downtrodden. You have to be kept unhappy so that you won't try to pursue your dreams, so that you will work for someone else. Because that's not what happy, comfortable people do. They pursue their own dreams, and they don't listen to others. They listen to advice. They won't listen to orders. So, yeah, this was really good stuff. This had that, it's something I talk about when I'm discussing My Little Pony. It's something that was present in a lot of Powerpuff Girls. I haven't watched very much Foster's, but I suspect I'll find it there too if I do. Is this kind of subversion through joy. This notion that to be happy, to be friendly, to help others is a subversive act, which in a world dominated by cynicism and greed and self-interest, in power structures that assume that that's the primary motivators, that and fear, that will drive people, it is subversive to help others. It is subversive to do what makes you happy. It is subversive to try to make others happy. These are revolutionary acts. Because they fundamentally undermine the word I've been carefully dancing around using, capitalism. Happy people are not good consumers. Happy people are not good cubicle monkeys. Happy people are not good factory line workers. Happy people go off to do what they want to do. Happy people are creative instead of consuming what's spoon-fed to them. Happy people don't go out and buy stuff they don't need to try to fill a hole in their lives that they've been told they have to have by advertising. So, go out and make each other happy. It's quite possibly the most revolutionary thing you can do in this day and age. On that note, I know this is a short video, but it was a very short episode. Normally 10-minute stuff, I do 2 episodes or even 3 at a time. But this was just one 10-minute chunk, so there wasn't that much to talk about. I really enjoyed it. I'll happily do more Wander Over Yonder in the future. It's definitely going to start showing up on the lists of, once we're done with the next couple of shows and it's back to voting again, it's definitely going to go on the list. So, yeah. Thanks again, Shane. Hope you enjoy this video. And to everyone, I'll see you all next time with more Star vs. Evil. Bye.